So welcome to this yet another episode of The Rumble. My guest today is from a field that everybody wants to ask questions of. And who the hell is that? Teachers in the teaching profession. We read and read and read about schools and what's happening in schools, but I'm not going to talk about any of those things. Just talk about education. So welcome to the show, Madhuvanthi.
Hi.
Lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me
So much has been written about schools and how they're being exploited and teachers exploited and teachers exploit the school and the kids. What is your take on it? Are we in a stable set of rules in this country that education is?
I don't think any industry in this country we have to think about rules because everybody lays their own rules.
Okay.
People run things based on their own rules.
There are certain rules set, and then people bend it, break it.
Yeah,
go around it.
That happens in every industry.
Okay.
So why talk only about education and on that perspective?
Because that affects everybody's children particularly.
That's true, but then my take basically on this is that every rule is meant to be followed, and when necessary, every rule is meant to be broken.
Necessary.
Yes.
That's the key word. Now,
Yes.
who decides it's necessary will be the one who comes out winner.
Again, that depends on who is breaking the rule.
That's also true.
That's the person
So
who decides.
do you find the present educational rules hard to follow, unreasonable, need change?
No, some of them are good. For instance, the Right to Education Act, according to me, I think is very interesting because it does give scope for us to kind of collaborate and mingle with children who otherwise are never going to be able to even see a classroom in their lives.
Absolutely.
But how well is that going to be
translated
literally into the classroom is something I'm waiting to watch.
Okay.
So to me, the rules laid, yes. Execution, I have my questions.
So does the government of India have a large function in this, or can it be left to private industry to say, take care of education, make it a business?
I strongly feel that the government and private, like in every other industry, whether it is healthcare, if you look at healthcare, even now, even laying of roads now, a lot of it has been given to private industries.
Yes.
So I would strongly recommend that the government of India allowed private people to take care of education and collaborated with them rather than kind of, come down with an iron rod
so just
and say, this is what we want you to do.
Set the guidelines and then let them...
Yes, so that it really benefits both ways. Okay. Because you see the way healthcare is developing. You see the way your highways are developing. These are two industries. You see the way the IT industry is developing.
Yeah, they let them.
Why is education stagnant? Yeah. So that is my question.
But we have so many times the question of relaxing rules coming in. Then there's some who go and find out that they're understaffed or they don't have equipment or I don't know how many times they cancel the licenses of colleges and schools. How can something like that happen in a regulated society like ours?
Unfortunately, in India, unlike other countries, the government doesn't fund private schools.
Okay.
Private schools are funded by private bodies, like with trusts. So the government has to actually only fund the government schools. Now, the government does provide. Okay. It's not that the government doesn't provide. There's so many corporation schools that our school works with. Everything is available. They just don't know what to do with it.
So how does such a thing happen?
So that is something the government has to see, find a via media where you're going to facilitate and also help them use what you're giving them. It's not enough if you
just give. Or is it like a regulatory body is also required?
I think so. I think regulatory bodies that help, in the sense, not regulatory bodies, but bodies that kind of help these schools
used to have
understand.
That, no? There used to be inspectors of schools or something. Used to walk around. I remember old movies where all the kids were told, today come brush your teeth.
It's inspection day. Yes.
Yeah.
If that came back into vogue, especially in the government schools, and they actually had a check as to what was going on, how these things have to be used. Because the government does give a lot.
Yes.
But these kids don't know how to use it.
There's a school right next to that tennis stadium in Nungamakam. I don't know the name of that school. It's a government school. It is the most awesome campus I've ever seen.
It is. Probably and they have some amazing playgrounds.
Amazing.
These are things that even private schools don't have. And they have,
huge.
And let me tell you, some of the children who come out of those institutions are amazing brains. They can give your private school children a run for their money. That's the kind of talent you find there. It's just that it has to be facilitated regulated right. That's all.
So who are the people who go to government schools? I'm very mystified about this.
No, children who basically can't afford a private school.
That's the criteria.
Who get education for free. Probably your workers. That labor class basically goes. Not children from your family or my family end up going to a government school. Whereas in countries like America and Europe, everybody goes to a government school, to a public school. Yeah. It's very rare you find children going to a private school.
That's right.
That's the difference in this country.
And I could never... I could never understand why there is so much emphasis on private schools or their perception that they're far, far better. They must be in some way better, otherwise they wouldn't be this perception.
They are better, not better. I'm not going to go into a comparison. It all depends on where you want your child to study, what you want for your child. I think this whole setup of comparison is what is causing all your issues with the education system, because we want to just compare our kid with 10 other kids down the block, or 20 other kids in the neighborhood, or 30 other kids in the community. No. You figure out what you want for your kid.
Maybe the parents. Yeah, she's thrown up an intriguing point. Maybe it's the parents also. They need to do some work, before they just send this kid off somewhere and say, go, come back after class, we'll talk. So we'll find out when you come back. So the other intriguing thing is this qualification for teachers. 99% of all the teachers I hear go to government schools are all highly qualified. They've got various degrees and stuff. And you watch a private school, you find none of them have got any of those kind of qualifications.
No, it's either ways, either or in both cases. The issue today is we do not have as many number of teacher training colleges or teacher training centers as we should.
Okay.
Because teaching is no longer the primary profession of an individual.
Okay.
You have nothing else to do, let me go be a teacher.
Oh, it's a last resort.
Which is not the case. I think
should not be the case.
It should not be the case, and I think you're shaping up the future of this country.
Yeah.
So you need to be trained, you need to be qualified, not just through your
degrees. Why is this such a concept so hard to understand? Everybody, in 2 seconds you said that to me and we all know what it means. What is the problem? 60 years after independence, we still have pretty bozos everywhere.
I am not going to say bozos. You are allowed to say that on the show. I am not.
Yeah, you don't say it.
But what I'm saying is, I think we need to have more teacher training colleges. First, to make them understand what it is to be a teacher. A teacher is a guru. He's not somebody who comes and tells you, open this book, take this page, study this, come back tomorrow, write a test. No, he's got to facilitate you into doing something, learning by doing, learning by your mistakes.
So what's the essential difference between private school and a government school?
There isn't, I wouldn't say there is an essential difference. There are good teachers there, good teachers here, average there, average here.
The syllabus is the same in any case?
No, syllabuses differ because this country has, it's not like other countries where it's one national syllabus that is followed.
Okay.
This country has different syllabuses, syllabi rather, for different groups of communities. So there is the panchayat syllabus is different, the matriculation syllabus is different, the state board is different, the CBSE is different, the ICSE is different.
What is the purpose of that?
They basically, because this country has too many languages, too many different diasporas of people. So according to that particular community, the syllabus is kind of taken. For instance, in Tamil Nadu itself, you have state board, central board, matriculation, ICSE. Okay, now they've done away with matriculation. They've combined everything into state board. Tamil medium, English medium, Telugu medium, Hindi medium, Bengali medium, the medium instruction also changes.
But the syllabus is the same, isn't it?
No.
Just the medium may be different.
No, the curriculum changes. The levels of learning. See, the whole idea was to help the child learn based on his or her level.
X number of years in school and you should
But now that has become a rat race. That is the problem. Now what has happened is nobody looks at that child's individual growth or development. It is always in comparison to 10 other kids around. So that becomes pressure. And that pressure mounts into a volcano and then ends up in all kinds of bizarre things.
So when you hire a teacher in your school, are all your staff qualified by...
See, their basic degrees, yes. And then we send them for training because our school, Caliber International, is an edXL GCSE, as in we follow the British curriculum. So we have to send our teachers for a certain period of training. Because that curriculum demands that. And it is a prerequisite. Which is what I really wish happens in the national system where the training becomes a prerequisite. And it is not just an age-old BEd or MEd that was kind of earned 50 years ago.
Is that very difficult to achieve? Do you see that?
It is not. You just have to have more teacher training colleges and schools, and teaching has to be made to look lucrative. Teaching has to be made to
look a profession that people want to.
A profession that people want to come and not something that they come because they don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, I was told by another teacher that she really feels bad that there are no males in this business. It's almost like entirely left over to women. Either they are wives or maybe full-time teachers.
Lots of males.
What happened to all the men?
Want to come.
Master G.
No, that used to be the case. They want to come. But then today's day and age, with two people working, primordially the man wants to earn a lot more because you have to fend for your family yourself.
Yes.
So life has become more complicated today. So the male tends to taking up a job that gives him a lot more pay.
Okay.
Which again comes back to the question of...
No, but I hear teachers are paid a whack.
Teachers are paid well, but teachers are not paid as well in comparison to a payment in an IT job.
Really?
Definitely not. And it's not easy because again, you are not funded, private schools at least are not funded totally by the government. So you got to find for yourself.
No, government school teachers are extremely well paid from what I hear.
They are, but then it is not lucrative enough because you don't have whatever you ask for. What I said, the same facilitation that I'm talking to you about.
Okay.
So everything is a cycle. You know, you find the tail, then you don't find the head. You know, there is a saying in Tamil where you say, Kalla Kanda Nayakanu. You know, there's a stone, but there's no dog.
Yeah. Or it's the other way around.
Or the other way around.
Yeah, okay.
That's the situation. It's all rumbling away like your show.
And yet these schools are they're marvelous bits of marvelous institutions. They have great playing grounds by
yes, they are.
acres
They're
of it.
Amazing playing grounds. That's what I'm saying. They need facilitation. If the facilitation happens, then I will not hesitate to put my child in a government school.
Or would the government ever consider outsourcing it to you?
I'd love them to. I'd taken it up with open arms. I will.
So I think that's what you need to do.
That is what I'm saying. Privatization. If the government followed the same policy that they follow in the health sector,
yes,
or in your national roads, your highways, or in your in the IT sector, with the field of education, let the private people run it. Work in tandem.
But isn't that what's already happening? I mean, or maybe in higher education it's happening.
In higher education, yes. School education is always neglected, and that beats me.
Or do they feel that the private industry will go and meddle around with their brains and mess around with their thinking?
I don't think so. In any case, all your professionals who turn out go to private colleges only. Tell me which one goes to the government college.
I know. So if they've let open the college section,
if you've opened up the college section, open up the school sector. After all, it's 15 years of a child's life versus 4 years of the life.
Right.
Which is more important.
Yeah. And it's been part of the industry discussions. Has ever happened between government and private industry?
See, they do talk. They do ask us. And
is it all a matter of control? People don't want to let go?
I think so too. Because I think probably now things will open up. I'm hoping. I'm hoping things will.
Yeah, with the new Prime Minister's emphasis on education.
With the new Education Minister being who she is,
and somebody from the villages reaching the top,
right there. I have a feeling that what we're looking for, this collaboration, this metamorphosis, will come through. So we just have to cross our fingers and wait.
And the teaching methods. In the old days, teaching method was basically a heavy hand, one chapter across your face. And you will remember everything. You'll remember the teacher's face also, right, till you die. Now you know a variety of teachers coming and going.
No. Today's day and age, you can't really use the heavy hand method with the children. They're a lot more aware than probably you and I were as kids. Today, they have
the parents will get in the way, I think.
No, it's not just the parents. The children are smart enough to come and say, I think what you're saying is wrong. And they don't have a problem saying that to you, and I welcome that. I think that honesty is required. And today's kids are much more aware. Exposure levels are like somewhere else as compared to what it was for us. So we really have to adapt ourselves and grow and be able to handle these kids. So
maybe the average kid doesn't respect his teachers.
No, he does.
He does.
I don't think by saying, I think you're wrong, you're being disrespectful.
No, I don't mean that either. I mean, if he respects his teacher, then you respect everything he says.
He does.
So
he does, but he begs to differ.
Okay.
Agreeing to disagreeing is a good thing. It's a healthy thing.
That's allowed.
Which is allowed. It should be allowed. So that's the
issue. So the few other things that we want to know is how much of this is like a school must have X number of playgrounds, X number of this, that, and the other. Is that restricting the growth of the private sector into all these? Some of them are a little ridiculous, aren't they?
Does.
Okay. So we'll come back and find out about that. So, academics is one thing. Kids don't remember anything that they study in school. Who remembers it? But it's a fun time of school that one remembers. Growing up, friends, there's that bunking.
I beg to differ there for a minute. People don't not remember what they studied in school. It depends on how you taught them. If you teach it to them the right way, you make them learn it for themselves, then it's something that they will never forget. If you're going to tell them to, you just ramble on to them and say, learn this, mug it up, come back, take an exam, vomit it out, 5 marks is all you get for this, then nobody's going to remember it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not talking actual subjects itself. I'm just saying your life in school or your life at that age. You may not remember too much about which date you came and who did they close the gate or didn't. But you remember all the good times you had with your classmates and friends and stuff.
That is always
so
the
how
case.
much of extracurricular activities is considered good?
Firstly, I don't believe in the word extracurricular.
Okay.
I think we should call them co-curricular.
Okay.
And as far as my school is concerned, everything is we have a lab system. We don't have classrooms in my school.
Okay.
So the kids move from one lab to another. So like we were discussing earlier, if there's a geography room, it's a geography room. It's not class 2A.
So it's like the American system. You go to your class rather than actually...
Go to your lab, exactly.
Or your teacher coming to you. You go there.
Yeah. So there is a music lab. There is a dance lab. There is a theatre lab.
Okay.
So there is even a film lab.
So that automatically signifies that you have specialized classrooms for specialized subjects and for special classes. Yes. Everybody couldn't be going to the same class.
No, everybody. The batch goes in here.
Okay.
And they study
but they're
the
in
subject.
Different classes, aren't they? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. That is there.
They'll change.
According to the time.
So you have a set of geography classes, a set of biology, whatever.
Correct. So that's how they move. And there is no extracurricular. Co-curricular in the sense that I think music and dance, because I'm a dancer and a theatre person myself, I think music, dance and theatre has to be given equal importance as much as science and math.
Okay.
Because you never know where the child is going to blossom and grow.
Yeah.
And in today's day and age, just being an IT professional or a doctor or an engineer is not enough.
That's true.
An artist is truly respected. A.R. Rahman was a dropout from Padma Seshadri.
Oh.
But where is he today?
Right. Yeah, nobody expects him to have an academic career.
Similarly, Dr. Kalam. He's a scientist, he's an artist.
Correct.
I think they're on the same plane.
Yes.
So, I think that's what you have to look at.
So, do you what shall I say, stream or rather check up the kids over there for their proclivity? Do they like this? They like that?
Yes, we keep doing that. We keep doing that silently. We don't do it very obviously because then that kind of disrupts the child's psyche.
Okay.
So we keep checking the aptitudes as they grow and we keep assessing them based on their growth. Okay. Not in comparison to the 20 others in class.
You're watching a little big brother, but not being obtrusive about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, now how about parents? Are they an irritating lot or can they actually contribute?
They can be both.
But generally?
In general, the parents find it very difficult to understand that, your child is different from you.
Okay.
Your child came through you, didn't come from you. I keep saying this to all my parents. Okay. They don't understand that line. They feel that, what I couldn't do, I want my child to do.
Very Gibranish.
And I want my child to do this. Everybody else is doing it. Why isn't my child doing it? Your child is individual. 5 fingers are not the same. I do not understand why they want their child to be the same as 10 other children. Then I'd rather create robots. Why are we having human beings?
Correct.
So the parents, it's difficult for them to understand that. Also because both are working parents now. You don't have the system where there's a grandfather or a grandmother sitting in the house trying to shape the child's growth.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it's a nuclear family.
But you welcome parents coming in and saying their thing, or they generally...
Oh, we do. We have a lot of conversations with our parents. We encourage our parents to come and talk to us. And we try to tell our parents, you know what? Your child is special, individual. Your child is not...
And are you fully into this e-learning thingy? Everybody's online and getting monitored at home?
No. I don't subscribe to that to a great extent. Good. Yes, there is e-learning in the school. We do allow our children to download their homework. Okay. But everything has to be done with the supervision of the parent or the teacher. I don't subscribe to just, saying sit at home and learn from
Upload your homework and be done with it.
Be done with it. No, that's not the way forward. That's not the way.
And parents, are they keeping with your school? I mean,
they are. It took them some time to understand this system, this curriculum, because we don't have notebooks, we don't have textbooks.
Are you a more expensive school than other schools?
We are.
Considerably more? Or just
no.
Marginally more?
Marginally.
And you think that money is definitely worth it?
Definitely.
All right. So it's been lovely having you, and I hope you go and put out
Thank you so much.
schools like that.
Thank you so much.
And rather outsource the education people like you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.